Today I'll be sharing with you how I make a simple cowl neck top. No patterns are required for this project as it's all made by measurements and draping. Here are the measurements I use, or you can adjust accordingly to your size and preferences. I like to use satin, but you can use any other material that will drape well. I start by preparing the fabric and cutting it into a 75cm square. Then folding the corners together so it creates a triangle. By placing a ruler or tape measure on the bias, I mark out the middle 50 centimeters. This will be the 25 and 75 point on the meter ruler. I then go ahead and mark out a rectangle according to the measurements in the diagram. Again, this is to my size and preference. You can use any size rectangle you like and you can experiment with the different shapes and proportions. After pinning, I sew down the two side seams of the rectangle. I like to hold the fabric taut so it has a nice flat seam. After trimming, you want to flip out the rectangle and iron the seam flat. Now we're ready to pin on the dress form. If you don't have a dress form, you can use yourself by pinning it onto a singlet, but do be careful. Here I want to create pleats using the excess fabric and bringing it down in a V shape. I like how it creates volume in the center and it's flattering, but you can do this step however you like. I use the machine to baste it down, but you can also hand stitch. Let's create the straps. Cut a 2cm strip along the width and sew it at 5mm. After trimming, we want to create a snip and insert a bobby pin. I like using this method because it creates a really narrow spaghetti strap. After that, I heat seal the edges and attach it onto the top. I like to hand sew this on so it's invisible from the front, but you can also use a machine. Next step, I place the top on the long waistband and mark out where it needs to go. I then sew the two ties of the waistband, making sure to sew the ends diagonally so it creates a nice ribbon finish. To bag it out, I poke the ends with a chopstick until it goes all the way through. I then pin and sew the top onto one side of the waistband. After that, I press the ribbon nice and flat, also pressing the seam allowance of the other side of the waistband. Now it's time to stitch that down. You can do this by machine or by hand if you want an invisible stitch. And there you go! You can wear this top on its own or pair it over a blouse. You can also attach it to a skirt if you skip the last step. Thank you for watching, and if you like this, please subscribe.